Hello and welcome back to Nadya's Identity Files. I have Janet with me. Thank you for being here, Janet.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. A little nervous, but I'm doing good.
Oh, I cannot tell. We're just over here talking about all the diversity on Hollywood Boulevard and getting our people watching on. Are you a big people watcher in general?
Hell
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you create stories for people?
Sometimes, yeah. I'll be like, wonder what they're doing in their life. Where are they going?
I know. I can't help myself. Like, sometimes I create these full-blown narratives and, like, inner monologues for those that I see. It's just always been super entertaining for me, especially because I'm from a small town, so that's for sure how I entertain myself. So today we're going to talk about hair and identity and self-esteem. So I really appreciate you reaching out to me, and we started the dialogue outside of the studio. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about your journey with excess hair growth?
Okay, so I've been basically born with it, but it didn't start coming out until I was more like 8 or 9. That was around the age, and then from there it just kind of began like a lot of taunting, from elementary school, middle school, high school, and college. Like, people would just like stare at me or just like make remarks, and a lot of that really just like I took it in as growing up. It was like a lot. It just kind of got me more into a little shy. Just really shy and more of in my shell, and didn't really speak up a lot.
At what age did it start?
Around 9. Yeah, the age of 9. That's when I got a little growth spurt, and that's where I started becoming more excessive. And around the age of 17, my mom and I took studies to see what was going on, and everything was like perfectly normal.
Wow.
Yeah. So still to this day we don't know why.
Yeah.
Why I have so much excessive hair growth.
So when you were really young, how did this affect your self-esteem? Like, what types of things were kids saying to you?
Well, I got called Chewbacca once. I do recall that.
That's so stupid.
Chewbacca, and then people just ask me why. Why do you shave? Why do you have a 5 o'clock shadow? Why do you have a beard? Why? Just things like that. That was just like, man, like, and then having to shave every single day just didn't help at all. It just made me feel like just embarrassed and like really like gross for like having to do it every day. Like, that was part of my everyday routine. So yeah.
Did you ever try waxing when you were like dabbling with it?
From the age of 9 to 12, before I had to shave for my first laser session, that's when I would like wax.
Right.
Prior to that. So
how did this, so you were probably comparing yourself a lot to other kids and to images in the media, like in magazines and TV, of women who have no hair.
Yeah. Definitely.
So how did that impact your identity?
Well, it just always made me wonder and desire, like, oh, I wish I had that. I wish I just had, like, just even on the neck. I just wish I had, like, clear, no hair on the neck, and just wearing jewelry, things like that. Like, I just wish I had that. And a lot of comparing led to everything else in my everyday life, like, not just in my looks, but just in things that I would do. I really wouldn't speak up a lot on many things that I felt like was right to me or opinions. So it just kind of like dimmed my own light just from the comparison of like everyone else.
Do you think that's because you were hoping that you wouldn't bring attention to yourself to prevent taunting?
Yeah, basically, like, I didn't want any attention towards me, because that's the whole point. That was the whole point, so that no one would look at me. Really became really invisible. And then also I had like massive hair. Like, I had like curly hair, and I used to hide behind it a lot.
Oh, wow. So. You have beautiful curly hair. I mean, I wish I had curly hair. We all want what we don't have, right? Like, as they say.
Yeah.
So, obviously, as you were growing up and this was impacting your identity, I mean, what were some things that were going through your head? Were you just kind of clinging to the idea of not having this problem? Or did you ever think, maybe I should just embrace this and buck against what society is saying is pretty?
Yeah, I mean, that was actually towards the end of high school. That's where I began just like embracing it as what it is. Like, even though yes, I was made fun of and all these things, I began seeing like, well, like, even though it has created a lot of negative outlook, I also focus on the positive outlook of it, where it created a resilience in me, strengthened me to like continue pushing forward, no matter what. Like, even though people would look at me on a daily basis and like long hard stare looks, like, I just would continue like onward with my day and continue to smile and just like really just spread joy and love to people no matter what. So that never stopped me from being the person that I am, and just like always wanting to support and be of service to other people.
When did you start opening up out of that introversion that was brought on by the excess hair?
College. I want to say around college I started slowly but surely like getting out of my shell. And then just even more so towards the end of last year, that's when I was like really just beginning to like just become my full 100% self on a daily basis, and not really care about what people thought. Not in the sense of like screw them or anything, but more of like, you know what, I accept myself, and I'm embracing myself by doing a lot of like self-love care,
right.
Self-treatment, and just sharing with people, sharing all about how I feel and my journey. So yeah, it started really more towards the end of last year. Yeah.
What's the longest that you ever had it?
Oh my god. Right now, like I've just been like trimming since like I'm like already committed to not shaving at all anymore. Now that I started like laser, I've committed to not shaving, like even though they said like I can't shave, but I've just committed to not shaving, so I just trim. But man, it was like all this right here was just really long. Like it was just like 2 like 2 inches long almost.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did that impact your dating life?
Let's see. Well, I don't think that ever was a problem. I think
that's good.
The thing was because I was really I did really well in like makeup too, like, and not making sure it was like not too prominent.
Right.
Yeah. So that was never really an issue. So yeah, surprisingly, a lot of things were in my head about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Understandably.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's just, I think that it's so silly that on one side, you know, women are expected to have no facial hair, no hair on their legs,
oh my god,
no pubic hair, no armpit hair, but yet we're criticized if this is cut into a pixie cut or done, you know, moved into a non-traditional hairstyle.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
it's just so much irony.
There
and I think I mentioned to you that I read an article about a young lady, I think she was in India. I wish I could remember her name. I was searching all over the internet for her and I couldn't find her. But I had come across this maybe a few weeks ago, so it's very interesting that you reached out when I was, you know, just looking at that article.
Yeah.
And her hair was probably, you know, at least 3-4 inches off her face.
Oh wow.
And she just rocked it. You know, she's trying to obviously very clearly making a statement.
Yeah.
With
wow,
this.
That's beautiful, and yeah, power to her. Like that's amazing that she literally like is allowing that to be like her shield, her strength, like her way of like piercing through all forms of what society thinks of how a woman should look like, and her beauty, and how beauty should be defined as.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So tell me a bit about your advocacy work that's come out of your identity work with your hair and everything else.
Well, I mean, a lot of it is empowerment with women, and just really creating a safe, sacred space for them. I'm definitely embarking on plant medicine too, as using like different forms of like natural enhancement to like your beauty, to yourself, not just your physical, but your like holistically, just on a spiritual, mental level. So that's what I've been doing. Group of women and I have been like gathering every week, every Wednesday, and at 6:30 in the morning by the beach, so that just to like create a safe space for people to share.
What time?
At 6:30.
Oh my goodness. That's early. You're coming from downtown. Do you take the train to Santa Monica?
Well, I have a car, so I drive in the morning. The drives aren't that bad, but yeah, so I've just started that, and then just continuing to spread and just share my journey as is like, you know, the journey is coming, you know, just began of like doing laser. Like I'm just sharing more and more and more about it.
Do you ever feel any backlash, or, because I mean, obviously some women, even women who haven't necessarily experienced what you've experienced, you know, they're on the outside, yet they claim to have a direct relationship with it because, say, they're, you know, hardcore feminists or, you know, body positivity advocates. Have they ever criticized you for embarking on laser and said, why don't you just remain natural?
No, I haven't actually. Not yet, at least since I've just began. But I mean, obviously comments are made and like, oh, why are you doing it? Or like, they want to know. If anything, it's just more of an encouragement, like, wow, like, that's great that you're even sharing in general. Like, not even the fact that I'm doing laser, but the fact that I'm just sharing it openly, knowing that people are going to be watching and people are going to be hearing about, oh, wow, she shaves, or like, what? Just making it like everything that people are thinking in their heads, like, I'm just like making it known and sharing it out in the open space. So that way people can be like, wow, like something for themselves that they could take for themselves to empower and inspire themselves, and something that they're not happy about in their lives, even if it's not a physical form, just anything that they want to work towards, you know, to just be happier and be more joyful and be just creating self-love for themselves.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So you're really using this experience as a launch pad for community building.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So what's your goal? What's your vision with this?
My vision really is just to bring people together and just creating acceptance for one another without having the judgment of like, oh, she has acne, or oh, she's a little bit more overweight, or she's too thick on some particular parts of your body. Like, that doesn't matter. Like, it's just, yeah, like you said, creating a community, a space where people can come together and be accepting of each other and share talents and skills, mainly in the arts, or like I said, plant medicine. Yeah, mixing those two, best of both worlds.
Do you hope to build out some sort of collective, or like an actual community platform, or what do you see your current work with, you know, say having the women gather at 6:30 in the morning on the beach? What would you love it to evolve into?
I would love for it to,
on a business level.
Yeah, on a business level, just to evolve into events. I say events like workshops that are just bringing people together. I would say mainly women, but you know, men are also included too. Just to bring women together and doing workshops of like self-development, crafts, what else? Yeah, just I'm thinking more of like on an event side, like where people can just come together like either once a month or once every 6 months, something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. Keep at it.
Yeah.
So I always ask my guests this question. It's really fun. It does put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
But if you could define your identity in 5 words, what would it be? What would they be, the words?
Oh wow, okay.
I told you.
Identity, wow. Joyful? Wow. This is a good one. I'm not too sure.
You can take time to ponder.
Does that have to be like in a sentence?
It does not.
Oh,
no,
okay,
no. I use this exercise sometimes with my branding clients.
Okay.
Because it's a way to dig deeper into their core motivations.
Okay.
And understand more about themselves and their business. I ask them to do the 5 words for their business or organization and themselves to see and study the intersection. And if there's no intersection, then there might be a little off track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, vulnerability. Empowering, healing, and focused.
Let's go over those 5 again. Let's say it loud for the audience to hear.
Vulnerability, empowering, healing. Oh wow, I already said. I forgot the.
Vulnerable, empowered,
joyful, healing.
A healer,
focused,
and focus.
There you go. That's one.
Love it.
Yeah.
So you're a leader also, without maybe be fully aware of it, but obviously the focus thing and everything else that you mentioned seems to fall under great leadership skills. As well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, is there anything else that you want to share about your current projects, where people can find you, how people can get involved with your advocacy work and awareness building?
Feel free to follow me on Instagram @_Janette_Itzel_, or also just look me up on Facebook. That's where you can best find me, and just reach out to me and see to go from there. And then Wisdom Wednesdays, Women's Circle, 6:30 at Santa Monica beach. So
Where in Santa Monica? That's a big beach. Like what?
Well,
just message her for the details,
message
y'all.
Me, yes,
We're not.
me.
Hey, all thousands of audience, come to the beach. Just come and wander. Like,
Yeah.
Look out for her.
Yeah.
Her pretty flower in her hair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here and talking to me. When we come back, we will be Skyping in Max for his interview, and then we will be doing a roundtable conversation. Stay tuned.